And in tech news, the inventor of the Gromdar says he's determined to put a Gromdar in every American home. In other news, a woman who had almost formed a healthy sense of self joined social media, and an area man can remember exactly where he was and what he was doing when he assassinated John F. Kennedy.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and we are actually back as a live show in our Keene, New Hampshire-based studios here with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
After several days up at the beautiful Rogers Campground, starting Thursday of last week. So almost an entire week at Rogers. We came back yesterday, and due to a screw-up of mine on the weekend, we actually ended up having Tuesday night off because I had to catch up on a missed episode. And so now we're back. And missing, we missed you, Conan, at Forkfest.
That's nice sentiment.
It would have been nice to have you there. But the good news is a lot of people came out. And
yes,
I would say we probably tripled the numbers from last year.
More than, yeah. I'd say.
I would say factoring out the wedding, I think we tripled the numbers from last year.
Okay, yeah, I was including the rather large wedding party, although I think some of those people would have been there anyway, even if there was not the wedding.
But I suspect not the majority of them. But probably not even the super majority, because most of them were family members, obviously, who aren't necessarily, according to Jay Noon, who's again a former co-host and longtime caller here, who was the groom. He said that a lot of his family members aren't into liberty at all, so he thought it would be a good opportunity for them to
so his brother that had the horses probably would not have been there. His brother that flies the drones would have been there.
You mean the unicorns? They had unicorns, not horses. What are you talking about, horses?
I saw horses.
Well, you weren't looking close enough. They had horns on those.
Really?
Yeah, they had real live unicorns for this wedding. It was awesome.
Outstanding.
Yeah, so it was cool. And
on Monday morning, when the horses were outside of the trailer down near where the athletic events were happening, they did not have horns.
Oh, you saw them pre-transformation.
No, I saw them after.
Post. Okay, gotcha.
Post-op.
Gotcha. So, anyway, it was awesome. Forkfest 2019 is tentatively scheduled, I believe, for June 13th through the 18th. So basically the same week.
Yes.
We heard from Roger Paxton, who is, he joined us to co-host a couple of days up there.
Yes, he did.
And we heard from him that they are looking at, certain dates for Porkfest, which would start Porkfest on the 18th of June. So we're tentatively saying you should mark your calendar, but you can't make reservations yet, or you shouldn't. I don't think they can even take reservations that far out at Rogers Campground. I don't think it's possible.
I think they can, and I've actually heard that in years prior, people would rent the cabins before they left for Porkfest. So they, get the tentative dates, book me in for this cabin.
I saw an interesting comment that it was really nice being there and all of the facilities worked.
I mean, I don't know if all of them worked, because normally there's something that breaks, but yeah, I guess. I mean, we didn't have a huge crowd, right?
Nothing was broken during Forkfest, I think is what he's saying.
Yeah, well, the problem with the Porkfest, when there's 1,000+ people there, and they're all using the bathroom at the same time,
there's some sewage issues.
Yeah, things get clogged up, and it's never gotten fixed, by the way, because I guess does Rogers have to deal with any crowd as large as Porkfest?
No. That's their biggest event of the year.
And you'd think that they'd be, figuring that out. It's been, a decade?
Yeah, it has been a decade since they started at Rogers, or they continued at Rogers in 2009. The Porcupine Freedom Festival originally was at Rogers Campground, and then it spent a couple of years at a different campground, which ironically was run by the state government. I never understood that decision, and then they finally decided to go back to Rogers Campground as of, I think, 2009. So yeah, it's been there for 10. This was its 10th year at Rogers. So it looks like everything's going great at the Porcupine Freedom Festival, with Forkfest ramping up into it. I would say by Monday, which was the last day of Forkfest, the last full day of Forkfest, that I would say there were probably 300 to 400 people on the property, would be my guess.
True, because some of the Porkfesters started showing up on Sunday.
They were getting stuff set up and vendors showing up and all that. So,
did you guys get any of that storm
Yeah, it hit us
the
hard.
one on Monday where I wound up being trapped in a gazebo for a couple of hours.
That was some crazy Florida stuff right there.
Yeah.
That was a Florida hurricane in my book.
Was it? It wasn't a hurricane, was it?
For three
No.
or 4 minutes it was.
Okay, yeah. That's
Not
not
a
the same
hurricane.
thing.
I know that.
and the winds weren't that bad.
I had one branch come down.
Yeah.
Came down right in the highway, right in the middle of the highway. I'm sitting there watching from the window. I'm like, that's not good. And then a car pulled up, looked at it, and then drove around it in my yard.
Well,
and so I ran out there real quick, and it was the.
Did
rain
you
was-
shoot him?
The rain. Well, he was already gone. No, I didn't shoot him because of his paperclip. But no, I immediately pulled the branch that was in a couple of pieces. Took about 5 minutes. It was a big whopper.
yeah, Conan, I mean, maybe you've gotten soft on hurricanes or something like that, but in hurricanes, those things pick up lawn chairs and flip them through windows
dude,
and things like that.
You weren't here when we had our 3 minutes of terrific winds.
Really?
I mean, there was everything come down. Half of Keene was off. The power
Still
was
not a hurricane.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it wasn't a hurricane.
Then stop calling it a hurricane.
Hurricane forced winds.
Okay. What did they kick up to? Was there any kind of reading on
I don't know.
Well, anyway, so forkfest.party is where you can go to learn more about that. I've got some pictures, which I've yet to post. I've been busy catching up on emails and other things today since we're now back in the real world, unfortunately.
Yes.
It's nice to get a little break and get out to Rogers Campground and hang out with a bunch of libertarians for several days. But I'll catch up on that. Also, I got to catch up on the video of the checkpoint, the not DUI checkpoint, but the immigration checkpoint that 5 of us went down and trolled through.
Vermont or New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
Oh.
Yeah,
Same place it was just a couple of months ago. Same place it was almost a year ago.
According to people who live there, that checkpoint goes back for quite a long time. Like they've been doing checkpoints, I think, since like the 80s or something like that.
The point that I'm making is it's not like the one in El Paso or just on the other side of El Paso that never closes.
Right.
This is one of those that they pop up every so often, but it's always in the same spot.
Right. It's just trucks on the side of the road and Border Patrol agents standing around and trying to look important and bossing you around. And then getting scared when you pull out a video camera because that's what happened with us. But apparently somebody else went through and was detained for 45 minutes and had a video camera. So when we went through, we had a carload full of activists pointing a big camera at them out the back window. And the video's hilarious because, we described it in detail during one of our Forkfest episodes, but just for you, if you're just tuning in, and you, Conan, as we're rolling up slowly to the checkpoint, one of the agents goes, "They've got a camera!" Yelling that out. And then as we get up to the dude, he comes up and says, "How you doing today? How you doing today?" or something like that. And I said, "How about you?" And he then said he was fine and asked me if I was a U.S. citizen, and I said I don't answer questions. And that's when he ordered me to pull into secondary, and I confirmed that was in order, and not that he was asking, but ordering, in fact, and he confirmed he was ordering me over there. So I started to slowly pull over across the lane of traffic to get in there. When you hear coming from the behind this guy, "No!" And this bigger guy who's obviously the supervisor waddles over and he's, tells the dude basically, "They've got a camera, let him go."
Oh.
And then he apologized to us. The supervisor apologized to us as though he were sorry that we couldn't get the screening that they were sending us to. It was ridiculous.
I'm sorry that I messed up all of your videos.
Yeah.
Take note, listeners. Just pull out that camera phone.
Yeah, well, in this case, somebody did have a camera, but they were detained for 45 minutes. So maybe having a bigger camera helps rather than the phone, or maybe having a carload of activists helps rather than being alone. I have yet to see the 45-minute video. Darryl, you just informed me about it moments before the show. So
right, and there are aspects that we cannot discuss, but apparently the ACLU is openly requesting videos from this particular checkpoint.
Okay, and I will work on that this week. I'll put together kind of an overview because I heard there was a second person who also got video going through this checkpoint as well, and they were also detained. So I'll put together an overarching kind of post just describing all of these things sometime this week over at freekeen.com. We'll certainly let you know when that happens. Now, speaking of immigration, Darryl, you have some news about this. Donald Trump apparently is changing policies.
Apparently he is. Story coming from Reuters says President Donald Trump backed down and abandoned his policy of separating immigrant children from their families on the U.S.-Mexico border after images sparked outrage at home and abroad.
It was his policy, Darryl?
We'll get into it.
That. More coming up here. Our number here, 855-450-FREE. We're back live, back in Keene. You can join us on the radio here, 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free to join us on the radio waves here. Take control of the airwaves at 855, 450, free like freedom. We're going to talk about the immigration policy change brought into effect apparently by Donald Trump in response to some very upsetting photographs and video that have come out regarding families being separated, children being taken from their parents, both being placed into very uncomfortable detention centers, very overpopulated detention centers, and we can tell you more about that coming up with you tonight. By the way, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
We're going to get to your phone calls and thoughts, but I do want you to know about the Blink Home Security System over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. It is there for you when you're not around, or maybe when you're around, to alert you to something going on in rooms of your house that you might want to know about. And I believe they've got some outside cameras available as well. You can go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get 15% off the already very affordable Blink Home Security System when you enter through blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's wireless, meaning that the cameras are battery operated. They come with the batteries you need. So you pop the batteries in. After you unbox it, you put the cameras where you want them, and then you set it all up in moments via your Wi-Fi enabled device like your tablet or smartphone. It really could not get any easier than they've made it. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Whether it's your home or a small office, Blink Protect I think would do a great job for you. And again, they're customizable as far as when they're operating and when they send you stuff, as far as what times and etc. So go to blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we go to Tom, he's in Hudson, New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
You remember what the Republican Party did to Ron Paul?
Yeah, they tried to basically run him out on the rails.
And kind of like what the Democrats, you could say, tried to do to Bernie Sanders. And now the Libertarian Party is taking their turn. They're trying to stop the state from putting my name on the primary ballot.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Law Commission.
So
yeah, they're going before the
so they're going before the Ballot Law Commission, which is very interesting.
For accuracy note, it's not the Libertarian Party as a political organization. It is me as former chair that filed the complaint because there is notations and historical documentation that the Libertarian Party revoked your membership 25 years ago because you have refused to sign the candidate pledge. What is the candidate pledge? Or actually, not the candidate pledge, the membership pledge, the Libertarian pledge that says, I do not advocate initiation of violence for political or social goals.
That's like the core
Correct.
basis
And
of
it's
the Libertarian
been the Libertarian pledge for basically the entire time the Libertarian Party has been in existence.
You have to sign that in order to join the party. However,
correct.
Darryl, let me ask you this, just to clarify, because in a lot of places, you don't have to actually be a member of a party to run as that party on a ballot, do you?
Yes and no. So in New Hampshire, there's a state law that says that the state shall not place anybody's name on the ballot unless that person is a registered member of the party. And then there's another statute. Hold on. There's another statute that says that voter registration is prima facie evidence, but prima facie evidence can legally be overcome with other
actual evidence. Yeah.
Yes.
Meaning that if there's evidence that Tom was removed from the party, in theory, he should also be removed from the ballot.
And there are a number of federal court rulings saying that political parties have a right to remove people from their primary ballots.
So you have to sign this pledge.
To join
candidates pledge.
No, it's a membership pledge.
For everybody who wants to join the Libertarian Party, they have to sign a statement saying, I do not support or advocate the initiation of force to achieve political or social goals.
And then pay a fee.
In most cases, but not always.
Okay, I'm a Libertarian. I've never paid the fee. What if I had run as a Libertarian this year?
You're not a Libertarian Party of New Hampshire member if you haven't paid a fee, because there's a fee to get in there, and you have to sign that.
All right, I'm
pledge.
voting Libertarian this year, but could I have run as a Libertarian?
In theory, and we would ask you to join the party. If you have been expelled from the party, then we would not ask you to join the party, and I personally would seek your removal from the ballot.
All right, Tom, what's wrong with signing this pledge?
I signed the pledge, and I have kept that pledge at all times, and they are lying and distorting the truth.
So are you saying that the party did not revoke your membership in 1993 and return your membership dues?
I did not say that. I said I signed the pledge.
You said that the party is lying.
the party is lying when they
right.
said
So
that,
did you or did you not get your membership revoked in 1993 and have your membership dues returned?
I did not get my membership revoked in 1993. The truth of the matter is that I got the membership revoked in 1992.
1992.
So,
okay, thank you.
Furthermore, I signed the pledge when I joined the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, and I have kept that pledge. And they have they revoked my membership based on a lie that I was supposedly not keeping that pledge, and that was a lie because I have always supported the non-initiation of force.
Do you advocate the initiation of force for political or social goals?
No, I do not.
Aren't you a bigot, though?
Well, see, bigots have a right not to like queers.
Mm-hmm. So you're a homophobe.
We have a right to like or not like, and that's freedom of association. But it's a big difference between associating on the one hand and on the other side.
See, personally, I'd kick you out just because you're a homophobe. I wouldn't want you to be around me.
Well, that's your choice.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not in charge of the party though, so I don't get to decide those things. Now, don't you also advocate killing cops?
But he's not. All right, I was about to say he's not aggressing against queers, but I mean, if he's going about the cops,
don't you advocate killing cops?
No, I have never actually advocated any such
Don't you
thing.
beat around the bush about it though? Don't you take immense pleasure in stories about cops being killed? Don't you write fiction about cops being killed?
Well, that's fiction. People have a right to write fiction. But what you're trying to do is pretend that I have supported the initiation of force when you're not talking about the United States initiating force against the Japanese. When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, it's not just the exact same enemy pilots who dropped the bombs that are the enemy. All of the armed forces of the hostile government are the enemy, and likewise, it's not just the exact same enemy officers who threw the flash grenade into a toddler's playpen in Cornelia, Georgia on 28 May 2014, but all of the police forces of the hostile government are the enemy. So I've advocated, don't catch the license plate when somebody drives away after taking out some cops, because, the cop was an enemy officer.
Even if that person did not himself wind up committing, some kind of horrible act of aggression of throwing the flashbang. Maybe it was his first day on the job, and you're fine with just kill him because reasons.
The armed forces of the hostile government are the enemy for the duration of the hostility.
What about the city clerk? They wind up getting a government paycheck. Should people wind up killing city clerks?
No, because the city clerks are not on a mission to intimidate innocent persons into obeying the unjust law.
What about the tax collector?
Tom, I don't want to keep talking. Thanks for the call, Tom. Appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That hearing is going to be coming up next week.
Monday morning.
And we're going to actually get video of it.
Yes,
so
we will.
We will have that to share with you next week. We'll see whether or not Tom gets removed from the ballot as a so-called libertarian or not. This is Free Talk Live. More coming up, and you can join us.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and we are here live once again from our Keene studios, where you can call in to join us. And I mentioned our toll-free numbers, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's still available to you. But now we can also take you on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM or via Discord on the on-air call-in line room on our Discord server. Go to discord.lrn.fm to jump in there, where you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners before, during, and after the show. So head over to discord.lrn.fm, and when you jump in that top chat room for the on-air call-in line, you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio here with us. I'm Ian.
And I'm Conan.
And I'm Darryl.
So we just started, just scratched the surface on a story about these immigration detention centers and the separation of children from their parents.
Yes.
Which has been going on, and I suspect that some of the pictures that have come out recently, there's one story that I had here I found over the weekend from the Daily Mail in the UK. Headline, wrapped in thermal blankets and crammed inside chain-link fenced cages, new footage shows illegal immigrants, including young children, marching into a Texas detention center in McAllen, where 1,100 people are now being kept in cramped conditions.
Yeah, it's been going on at least since 2014. I don't know about those numbers, 1,100 people in one facility. But
that's the claim. It even says here about 200 of those 1,100.
No, I mean, I don't know that many people were around in detention, 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. There has been apparently a crackdown, which is one of the reasons why this is getting worse than it already was, because this was happening presumably under Obama as well.
Right.
Yeah,
and
but Sessions, the little evil leprechaun, has really gone to town.
There were also a lot more deportations under Obama than there were under Bush. And that's something that, the tough on immigration Republicans just want to forget, is that Obama did increase deportations. I guess, they forget that because it wasn't holding them in cages like their beloved Donald Trump is doing.
The story, by the way, just before you go on here, the story says of the 1,100 in this one location, 200 are unaccompanied minors. So they've literally got a couple hundred kids all being held in these horrible conditions. Can you imagine how awful that must be? I mean, just to have 200 kids in any normal situation, of like in a classroom situation, is bad enough, but let alone in cages and, who knows what the food's like.
Horrible for us.
Yeah.
But there's no telling what they've come from. I mean, this might be Disneyland for them.
I don't think so.
Doubt it. Disneyland, if you wound up getting arrested and thrown into jail in Disney, which Disney does have its own jail.
Yeah, but 3 square meals a day. You got your.
You're assuming they're getting 3 square meals a day.
You got your astronaut blankets.
Do they at least have Goofy and Donald Duck walking around the jail?
No.
No. Okay.
Continuing on with this article from Reuters.
Names.
That's what I'm saying.
Trump signed an executive order requiring that immigrant families be detained together when they are caught entering the country illegally for as long as their criminal proceedings take. That may violate a court settlement on how long children may be held, setting up a potential legal fight unless Congress acts on the issue. The Trump order, an unusual reversal by him. Well, I would say it's unusual for any president to reverse themselves. Also moves parents with children to the front of the lines for immigration proceedings. The order does not end a 10-week-old zero-tolerance policy that calls for criminal prosecutions of immigrants crossing the border illegally. So there have been, shall we say, internet arguments over whether or not this is, quote-unquote, Trump's policy, or if the policy was adopted by a previous administration.
Right.
What is new, and I'm using air quotes there, is this zero-tolerance policy of we're just going to throw the book at immigrants that come across and either don't cross through the proper spot or don't have the correct documentation or this or that. So zero effing tolerance. That's what's new. And as part of that, and I think, to some extent to cause a lot of discussion so that Trump can then blame the Democrats, because he started doing this the last few weeks of, well, if the Democrats really cared about these children, they would pass some kind of bill that allows me to build my wall. Well, excuse me, Donald Trump, but the last time I looked, the Republicans have the majority in both houses of Congress.
Right.
Don't blame the other party because you can't get something through your own party.
So you're saying not even all the Republicans are in favor of this wall idea?
It's not that they're not necessarily in favor of the wall. They can't come to an agreement of what else to do other than build the damn thing.
Or how to build it, or how to fund it, or the details on
it,
how high it should be, what it should be made out of, who should be guarding it, all that
stuff.
Right.
So one of the proposals that is being, bandied about in the House would wind up dramatically restricting legal immigration into the country. And another one just cracks down on the so-called dreamers and other people that cross the border illegally and then build the wall. So they're arguing over, well, how much do we wind up screwing over the immigrants after we build the wall?
Do we have a legal immigrant problem these days? I thought we were...
Oh, I'd say it's a problem when it costs tens of thousands of dollars and nearly a decade of time to wind up going through the process. That seems to be a problem.
The problem is the fact that the process exists. That's the problem.
Right. Yes. There are also people that are bitching about the so-called lottery program. And
yeah, they should bitch about it.
Well, the reason they're griping about it is because they're completely uninformed about what the program is. They just think, somebody in Zimbabwe buys a lottery ticket, they win, and front of the line, no background check. That's not it at all. What the lottery program does is You have to apply. Cost a lot of money to apply. If you find out that you get selected, you have a very short window to go to one of the U.S. embassies in a select country.
Jump through some hoops.
Go through a bunch of interviews, fill out a bunch of forms, pay a bunch of money, and then if they tell you that you pass all of your background checks, you then have 6 months to wind up selling everything that you own, where you live, find a job, find housing, and then travel to the United States.
That sounds complicated.
Yes, and they tell you because, there's no guarantee on any of this. Don't make any plans on anything until you wind up being told that you've passed all the background checks. And if something happens, you buy your ticket to leave out on the 178th day, flight gets delayed, you wind up missing a connection somewhere, and then it's 181 days. Sorry.
You have to start all over again.
No. You don't start all over again. You go back home and then hope to be able to apply.
That's what I mean.
Again.
Start all over again from the beginning.
No, start all over again would just be fill out all the papers. You're completely out of the system now.
That's what I meant by start all over again. From the beginning, which would be starting over again.
Now, Darryl, were the Republicans working on some legislation to fix this week's issues where the kids are being separated and whatnot, being put into these kennels? Was there something they were working on?
I'm not sure. I wasn't very in touch with the news while I was in northern New Hampshire with very spotty Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's not good out there. It's not.
So Trump is going to make it so the families are kept with their children and moved to the front of the line.
Yes, that's what he's saying. Continuing on here, there's a quote.
Yeah.
Which is just going to incentivize anybody coming the wrong way, whether you agree with them or not. It is going to incentivize them to bring kids with them, whether they're their kids or not.
You could argue that, but still, most people aren't going to want their kids to have to go through this. But either way, you might be right.
If you're getting put to the front of the line, I mean, that's how I would do it.
No. Kicked out.
Only for the court hearings, not the front of the immigration line.
Yeah, it's the front of the line to get kicked out. It's the front of the line to get processed first through these detention
unless
centers.
They're able to claim asylum while they go through the court.
A lot of these people are trying to get asylum already.
Well, they're going to go to the front of the line, to go to court, claim asylum.
Hold on. You must have missed the story from a week and a half ago where Jeff Sessions he's tightened who can get asylum. If you're fleeing an abusive spouse, you don't qualify for asylum anymore.
All right, there's more on the way here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can join us on the radio. This is Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. Tony Wright is a perfect example of the power of DNA. The Innocence Project litigated for almost 6 years to get the court's permission for DNA testing. Tony had been incarcerated for nearly 25 years in Pennsylvania and narrowly escaped the death penalty. Tony's case, sadly, is not unique. Empowered with the unequivocal proof of innocence provided by DNA technology, the Innocence Project has litigated hundreds of wrongful conviction cases, leading to the exoneration and freedom for more than 180 people through DNA testing. Overall, there have been 356 DNA exonerees in the United States who were wrongfully imprisoned for more than 4,875 years in total. You can help support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry in the New York City Marathon by going to run.freetalklive.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, or Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. Also, you can join us on our Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm. Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com, and that is where you can go to learn the basics about cryptocurrency, and specifically Bitcoin, which of course started it all. You can also get into the Bitcoin mining pool. Somebody asked me if I had a cryptocurrency mining operation or an actual physical computer. I said, nope, I don't have one at this time. I'm letting Bitcoin.com take care of it for me. Because if you want to get into mining, but you don't want to deal with all the hassles of like having to build a mining rig, having to configure the mining rig, having to fix it when something goes wrong, you let the professionals do it for you over at pool.bitcoin.com. You can mine either Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Core, which I guess there may now be an actual crypto called Bitcoin Core, so we may have to call Bitcoin again. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. But anyway, you can go to bitcoin.com or go to pool.bitcoin.com to get into the mining there. So we're talking about the disturbing footage that has come out of various different immigration centers, at the very least one in McAllen, Texas, with 1,100 migrants currently being kept in cramped conditions. Darryl, you say that Donald Trump has acted in because of the public outrage, as you know, and it's understandable. Children being separated from their families. At least 200 of the 1,100 people in this one facility are children. And presumably they're just keeping these kids together. One teenager, according to the Daily Mail, told an advocate who visited the center she was helping care for a young child that she didn't know because the child's aunt was somewhere else in the facility. She said she had to show others in her cell how to change the girl's diaper. Because, you know, somebody's got to do it, right? And I imagine that the border guards or whoever it is, the immigration bureaucrats that are guarding this facility, that's not part of their job description. So leave it to the other inmates. The footage, which was released by the federal agency after journalists were disallowed from taking their own photos and video during a press visit Sunday, shows the 22 sparse cells where detainees are sitting and laying down, shoulder to shoulder. So very cramped conditions. Sounds more like a jail in the Philippines than it does something in the United States.
Oh, they're not laying on the stairs.
Not yet. Reporters were also not allowed to speak to the detainees. And again, the video does show children and adults wrapped in plastic thermal blankets. It's cold in there.
Yeah.
Right? This is Texas. It's McAllen, Texas. It ain't cold outside.
Right.
So they're making this detention facility very cold, which is what you hear about jails, right? You hear that they keep it like 50-something degrees or very, very cold in jails. Now, the ostensible reason is to keep down the spread of communicable diseases or infections or something like that. But the real reason...
It's not to keep tempers down?
No, the real reason is to make people freeze and to make them very uncomfortable. It's sick. It's torturous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've never heard the thing about it prevents the spread of communicable diseases because you often hear, when it's cold outside, make sure you wear a jacket, otherwise you're going to get sick.
Yeah, that's a myth.
I know it's a myth, but your body does wind up, when it's colder, the immune system doesn't work as well.
Really?
Yes.
Well, then
but also, at the same time, when you're colder, you have less energy.
Correct. The footage shows the children and adults wrapped in plastic thermal blankets being ushered in single file past armed guards waiting to lock the chain-link fenced cage behind them. One cage had 20 children inside. Scattered about are bottles of water, bags of chips, and large foil sheets intended to serve as blankets. So anyway, you had probably more from your story, but just to give a little picture of what some of these conditions are like.
Yeah, a story here from Reuters has a quote from Trump. He gave this quote while signing the order in a hastily arranged Oval Office gathering minutes before departing for a campaign event. He says, quote, "It's about keeping families together while at the same time making sure that we have a very powerful, very strong border." The article then goes on to talk about, very briefly mentioning the video and saying that it's sparked anger in the U.S. from groups ranging to clergy to influential business leaders, as well as condemnation from Pope Francis. Trump, an avid viewer of cable television news, recognized that the family separation issue was a growing political problem. First Lady Melania Trump, according to a White House official, in a private conversation with the president, urged him to do something. In the Oval Office, Trump said he had heard from his daughter Ivanka about the policy as well, saying, "Ivanka feels very strong. My wife feels very strong about it. I feel very strongly about it. I think anybody with a heart would feel very strongly about it." Wednesday's move was the most significant policy reversal by Trump since he took office in January 2017. Instinctively combative and fond of chaos, Trump usually digs in on controversial policies rather than backing down. But the volume of condemnation on breaking up families from inside and outside the White House finally overwhelmed Trump. The reversal also creates a series of new headaches for the administration as it wrestles with where to house families that are detained together, possibly for long periods of time, and how to reunite families that have already been separated. Anthony Romero.
What a nightmare.
Anthony Romero, executive director of the ACLU, said this executive order would replace one crisis for another. Children do not belong in jail at all, even with their parents, under any set of circumstances.
It's only a minor increase in, some level of humanity. It's not really that significant in the scheme of things, but it's a little bit better. I'll give him credit for it. It's a little bit better.
Right, but see, this is, and I'll finish the quote from the ACLU director here in a minute, but it's one of those things. You just hit the nail on the head. Humanity.
Yeah.
But the people that want to wind up treating these quote-unquote illegal immigrants differently, they don't view them as
human beings.
Humans. That's why they don't say these migrants. Mm-hmm. They say, them illegals.
Yeah, it's basically
they
like
say
the equivalent.
Illegals?
It's the equivalent of like calling Japanese people Japs or the sort of dehumanization
it's
of
demeaning.
the
It's
enemy.
removing their humanity.
Yeah.
And then, no, we didn't kill any people. We killed enemies.
Mm-hmm.
We killed these other things. They're less than us.
We just kicked these illegals into the hot desert sun and left them there to die.
And one of the best memes that I've seen recently, and you've probably seen this layout before, to where it's somebody and they've got two buttons that they can press.
Yeah. The animated guy.
Yeah. The one said, our rights are inherent from God. Immigrants have less rights than Americans. And then the guy with the sweaty brow is labeled conservative.
Conservative Christian.
Exactly.
Continuing on with the quote from ACLU Executive Director, if the president thinks placing families in jail indefinitely is what people have been asking for, he is grossly mistaken. Because again, Trump hasn't said, yeah, we're not going to put the families in jail. We're going to put them all in jail together. Parents referred by border agents for prosecution are held in federal jails while their children have remained in U.S. Customs and Border Protection custody or have been moved into detention facilities managed by the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which is an agency of the Department of Health and Human Services.
According to this story here, speaking of the Department of Health and Human Services, the Trump push to decrease the number of border crossings illegally has resulted in DHHS taking in at least 250 children per day. According to the Washington Examiner, that number is expected to remain steady over the next couple of months, which means HHS would have 18,500 kids in their care by August. Add to those the 11,500 kids the department's already holding, and the total could hit 30,000 children by the end of the summer.
And
it's incredible.
Number of how many, as of about a week and a half ago, Customs and Border Protection said that 2,342 children had been separated from their parents at the border between May 5th and June 9th. This is not mentioning any children that were separated from their parents after crossing the border.
Now, Darryl, you're talking just now about how the pro-wallers, some of the these people on the right, not seeing these people as people, right? Seeing them as the enemy, and but coming from the other side, coming from the left, considering that this has now become a thing. I mean, it's been going on, the children, but it's been going on for years, and all of a sudden now it's an issue. Do you see the left? Do you think that they see these people as people, or just votes, or just a way of getting Trump out of office?
I think the whole thing of these immigrants only vote Democrat, it's a myth perpetuated by Republicans because immigrants that aren't citizens don't get to vote.
We got more on the way here, and you can take control of the airwaves. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Hour 2's next. You can bring up what you want. This is Free Talk Live. We got cannabis legalization on deck as well.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT NoGov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from Forkfest in the White Mountains of the Shire, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of June 15th through 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.23 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,299 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,542. Antiwar.com reports Thursday marked the first full day of fighting in and around the Yemeni port city of Hodeidah. At least 39 people were killed in the course of the fighting, and a limited amount of territory outside of the city fell to the invading pro-Saudi forces. Most casualties among the Houthis were caused by Saudi and Emirati warships and planes pounding sites being defended by the Houthis. 30 rebels were said to be killed. 9 of the invaders were killed, mostly by sniper fire and landmines. Forces advancing on the ground approached the Hodeidah airport. More are advancing to the front line. The Houthis are struggling to stop the advance of troops heading in from the south, though they have reported successes in preventing naval landings from some of the warships. This is preventing large-scale reinforcements from getting near the city.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports Kentucky Attorney General Andy Beshear filed a lawsuit Thursday against pharmacy chain Walgreens, saying its dual role as distributor and pharmacy has contributed to the state's opioid crisis. Beshear said Walgreens failed to monitor shipments of narcotics to 70 locations around Kentucky and flooded communities with the potentially dangerous prescription drugs. The lawsuit, filed in Boone County Circuit Court, said Walgreens used unfair, misleading, and deceptive business practices while excessively distributing and disposing opioids. It says the chain also failed to report suspiciously large opioid orders as required by the Drug Enforcement Administration. Beshear said in a statement, "My job is to hold accountable anyone who harms our families." While the slogan for Walgreens was, "At the corner of happy and healthy," they have significantly harmed the health of our families in fueling the opioid epidemic. The chain is also required to monitor and flag suspicious prescriptions, like those from customers who travel long distances to fill them or doctors who prescribe outside their practice scope. Beshear said, "While the pain of addiction and loss of a loved one may never heal, I want to make sure these billion-dollar companies take responsibility and become part of the solution." Walgreens, which announced $33 billion in sales during the second quarter of this year, declined to comment.
Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Reuters reports New York State's highest court on Thursday rejected President Donald Trump's latest bid to avoid potentially having to answer questions under oath in a defamation lawsuit by a former contestant on his television show, The Apprentice. The state's Court of Appeals dismissed Trump's request to halt Summer Zervos's lawsuit for calling her a liar after she accused him of sexual misconduct. It said the underlying ruling from which Trump was appealing was not a final ruling, warranting the appeal's dismissal. Trump and his lawyer, Mark Kazowitz, have argued argued that the U.S. Constitution deprives state courts from jurisdiction over sitting presidents and that Trump is immune from lawsuits over private conduct predating his entering the White House. Thursday's order marked the third time Trump failed to end the lawsuit by Zervos, or at least delay it until after he left office. Emily Thal, a spokeswoman for Kasowitz, said Thursday's order was on purely procedural grounds and did not address the merits of Trump's case. Marianne Wang, a lawyer for Zervos, said, "We look forward to continuing the discovery process and exposing the truth." Zervos, a contestant on The Apprentice in 2005, accused Trump of kissing her against her will at a 2007 meeting in New York and later groping her at a Beverly Hills hotel. She came forward in October 2016, the month before Trump was elected, and soon after the release of a 2005 Access Hollywood recording in which Trump spoke in vulgar terms about women. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shoppers at a Hannaford supermarket could only speculate that the middle-aged woman angrily demanding a price check on a pack of rice pudding was once a carefree youth.
I don't care what it says on your screen. You know, this is why people go to the store across the street, because of the way they're treated here. You know, nobody likes it here.
Those watching the woman angrily asking for a manager over a $1.20 price difference imagined that the woman was once a fresh-faced college graduate, too spirited and fun-loving to throw a bitter tantrum in front of a room of complete strangers.
She was probably once just some freewheeling college kid, you know? Her biggest concern was which one of her friends she was going to hang out with at night and whether they were going to meet at the movies or a bonfire on the beach. Now look at her. You know, I'll bet if you'd have told her 10 or 15 years ago that one day she'd be ripping into a grocery store clerk with a room full of strangers staring at her, she'd have been horrified. It's sad.
In other news, a few years in the military would have really straightened out a troubled teen killed in Afghanistan, and a man on the verge of self-realization instead turns to God.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here to bring up whatever is on your mind as we continue here into hour number 2. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Coming up, we'll talk about Canada. Actually legalizing cannabis. That is on the way, but first, since we opened the show with Trump's new decision about making the immigration process, or the immigration detention process, just a little bit more humane by allowing families to actually be kept together rather than separated while they're going through horrifying conditions like cages and space blankets or whatever. Apparently, speaking of space, he has also ordered the creation of a new branch of the military. And I didn't hear about this until just yesterday as I was getting back from Forkfest.
He said it on Monday.
The Space Force.
Yeah, so the great orange one, looks like he's trying to drop whoppers on us, at least 2 or 3 of them a week. Mm-hmm. And, of course, this came out on Monday. President Donald Trump says he supports the idea of creating a Space Force as a co-equal branch of the military in order to project U.S. dominance beyond the reaches of Earth's gravity. This is a story from...
Make the moon great again.
Exactly. This is a story from Reason. Who writes this? It's a blog, so... Christian Britjgi.
Okay.
Something like that.
Thanks, Christian.
Quote, "When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space," Trump said.
We need missiles.
At a Monday meeting. We need lasers.
Lasers.
Yeah. Did he actually say that?
Not yet.
Lasers?
Fire the lasers.
Okay.
Trump said at a meeting at the National Space Council, "I am hereby directing the Department of Defense and the Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force. This is the 6th branch of the armed forces."
Okay, so there's the Army, there's the Marines, there's the Air Force, there's the Navy, and then the Coast Guard. So
correct.
That's 5.
So
that
Space
is 5,
Force
yes.
would be 6. Can he do this, Darryl W. Perry? Can the president just wave his magic pen and create a whole new military bureaucracy?
He is the head of the executive branch.
Or isn't that something that, Congress is supposed to amend the Constitution for?
But I mean,
no,
has that stopped any president in the last couple of years from
the only thing
whatever?
Specified in the Constitution is Navy.
The Navy.
That's the only one mentioned by name in the Constitution.
Good point.
The other ones,
were they acts of Congress or acts of presidents that created that? Because that's huge bureaucracy.
Could have been both. when the Air Force and the Army split, because it used to be one branch. I don't know if that was an act of Congress or if the president just said, yeah, they're different now.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to find out the Coast Guard here.
Because I know at one time, I forget if it was the Coast Guard or the Marines that used to like be under the other, and there have been changes to the structure.
Isn't the Coast Guard just a reaction to the war on drugs?
No, the Coast Guard has been around for a really long time.
But isn't that all they do these days? Maybe Ian
No, they also look for immigrants coming from Cuba on rafts and turn them around. If you get lost at sea, then they'll go hunt for you.
Yeah, I've known people in the Navy, I've known people in the Air Force, Marines. I don't know anybody in the Coast Guard. I don't think that's very it's not as exciting. It's not as sexy.
Coast Guard was created in 1790.
Ooh, interesting. The idea of a Space Force admittedly sounds pretty badass. However, it is also likely unnecessary, unwise, and runs counter to the recommendation of Trump's own defense chief. When a bipartisan group of lawmakers tried to include language creating a new Space Corps in the 2018 National Defense Authorization Act, Defense Secretary General James Mattis strongly opposed the idea, writing in a letter, I oppose the creation of a new military service and additional organizational layers at a time when we are focused on reducing overhead and integrating joint warfare functions. This Space Corps was notably less ambitious proposal than what Trump seems to be describing. It called for the new Corps to have its own seat on the military's Joint Chiefs of Staff, but still report to the Department of the Air Force, similarly to the Marine Corps' relationship with the Navy. In contrast, Trump said today that his Space Board would be a co-equal branch, saying we are going to have the Air Force and we are going to have the Space Force, separate but equal.
Now, there's a theory that something like this already exists, and I was actually
there's NASA. They don't have guns, I don't think.
No.
But do they have Bearcats?
No. Wow. All right. Completely lost my train of thought.
I bet you they have. Space Force exists.
I bet you NASA has guns.
There's a theory, and NASA probably does have guns. And they might have lasers. They might have a Bearcat. They might have a manatee. I don't really know. But there has been documentation of some aircraft or Air Force craft that nobody actually knows where it is. There's a list of these non-terrestrial officers that nobody actually knows who they are.
Oh, they're on the Mars base, right?
Nobody knows where they are.
Dark side of the moon with the Nazis.
Where's Sarah when you need her? She knows everything about the dark side of the moon.
As recently, I skipped the paragraph. Whatever it takes, the creation of a new branch of the military will only invite more waste in a Department of Defense bureaucracy that continues to siphon off billions of taxpayer dollars. It's up to
this
700.
Is reason, right?
What is it, like 740 billion now?
I know it's at least 700.
And that's just like one big chunk that they get.
Okay, it's Reason's opinion. Okay, go ahead.
To siphon off billions of taxpayers' dollars while rarely being held accountable for how it spends its massive budget.
Right? Didn't we find out that they also lost 15 billion or trillion or something like that?
It was like 21 trillion over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah. The military.
And that's something that every time I see this article, it comes out every 2 or 3 months and has been the same article.
Which article?
About the Pentagon losing $21 trillion. Yeah. Reuters did the investigation in September of 2016. And all of these, I've got a website, .planet.com, will re-release this thing every couple of months as if it's a brand new discovery.
Yeah.
But it's the same. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not a brand new discovery.
Gotcha.
But the documents proving where all those trillions went, they don't exist because they were on that side of the Pentagon when it got hit by that missile. As recently as February 2018, an audit of the Defense Logistics Agency obtained by Politico found that the
Don't
agency,
confuse the conspiracy theorist,
which functions as the military supply arm, failed to account for as much as $800 million. In December 2016, it was revealed that the Defense Department buried an internal study finding $125 billion in administrative waste,
That's like buying fancy chairs, buying fancy desks, all kinds of spending on
dinners,
trips, and hotels and strippers.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Coke and blow. Blow. Strippers and blow.
Yep.
Then there's the money frittered away by the Defense Department on smaller scale boondoggles like the $43 million compressed natural gas station we built in Afghanistan. Mattis argued that the Pentagon's priority should be focusing on getting its own shop in order. I'm glad he's, at least on board there. Getting his own shop in order before it goes about creating whole new branches. Indeed, the idea of militarizing space with a brand new Space Force departs from some positive noises the Trump administration has made about letting the private sector take the lead in space development.
And aren't there some treaties going back to like the 1980s about not militarizing space? Isn't that why we got rid of the Space Force thing previously?
I know there's a treaty to not develop Antarctica. I would imagine that there is probably something very similar for space because, it's everybody's, right? So far. How do you claim it?
Trump could go up there and start shooting down satellites.
I think he needs to put something on the moon.
Which would be an act of war.
I think he needs to put a Trump Tower on the moon.
Yeah, so there's the Outer Space Treaty that was signed in 1967.
Indeed, the idea of militarizing space with brand new Space Force departs from some positive noises the Trump administration has made about letting the private sector take the lead in space. Thank you, Elon Musk, and you crony. In February, the administration floated the idea of converting the International Space Station to a semi-private facility and zeroing out NASA funding for the station by 2025.
Man, Trump is just all over the place with what he's doing.
I think he's doing exactly what they paid him to do.
Who's they?
The 1%.
All right, we're going to continue.
He's a showman.
Our number is 855-450, free like freedom, Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. The omega-3 fatty acids. Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeen.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeen.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and bring up what you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. Skype username is lrn.fm. And we've got the Discord on-air call-in line room where you can join us and sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us over at discord.lrn.fm. And Free Talk Live is brought to you by Zencash. It is great technology behind Zencash, which of course is a cryptocurrency, one of the myriad of options out there, and there's so many it's overwhelming. You don't know where to start, what to look at, which options to seriously consider. Well, you ought to really seriously consider Zencash if you care about privacy. They've got zero-knowledge anonymity, some of the best privacy technology out there. And if you care about liberty, Zencash was founded by voluntarists. In fact, they even wrote in voluntarism at least half a dozen times in the white paper, which you can see for yourself over at zencash.com. So they've got the economics right, they've got the philosophy right, they've got the privacy tools. This is a killer crypto, and I'm really excited about Zencash. In fact, I changed some of the church's Ethereum over into Zencash a couple of weeks ago when the price had dropped pretty significantly due to some technical difficulties that they had and that they are working to overcome. There's some cool stuff going on behind the scenes over at Zencash.com. They're already the second most popular based on the number of nodes. They have more nodes, last time I checked, than even Bitcoin does. And just a little bit fewer than the Ethereum blockchain's nodes. So check it out over at Zencash.com as we continue. Ian, Conan, and Darryl in the studio here tonight. We're going to the phones, to the fun, where we go to Skype, where Bad Penguin is on the line. Bad Penguin, where are you calling from tonight?
Virginia. It's Mortified Penguin. It's Bad Penguin is just a title I've adopted.
Can you do me a favor and back off the microphone a little bit? It's a little distorty.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to call about.
It's not much better. Not much better. I don't know if you could back off even more or whatever. But that'd be appreciated.
Go stand on the other side of the room.
I just want to make sure. I'm sorry?
Is that better?
Yeah, we'll just go ahead real quick with your comments. No, it's not, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to comment on the Space Force. Darryl had brought up the non-terrestrial officers. So there was a database that supposedly a scientist hacked into, which had a list of non-terrestrial officers. So if they're not terrestrial on Earth, where are they? So what about all these multiple billions of dollars that are into black budget that are completely unaccounted for?
So the suggestion is these non-terrestrial officers may be on some kind of a mystical space station out there or a moon base or something like that.
Right, and there's a theory that a lot of the missing money from the Pentagon is going to pay for this secret non-terrestrial thing.
Yeah, I'm going to put Bad Penguin back on hold here. I apologize. I didn't screen his call at first because he's called before and has sounded fine, and it's pretty hard to listen to. So we'll see if we can get him cleaned up and maybe get him back on the air. Normally we have a 1 call per show rule, but if it's technical difficulties is why we put you on hold, and we'll bring you back. So stand by there if you can, Bad Penguin, because I suspect you have some more comments. We're talking about Trump with the Space Corps program that he is ordering being created. And Darryl, you did a little bit of digging there during the break, and you found out that Trump, at least legally, should not be able to just order the creation of an entire separate branch of the military, correct?
Correct. So there was the question about whether he can do this with just the stroke of his pen through executive order, or if Congress needs to act. And current law in the U.S. Code defines uniformed services as the armed forces, the commissioned corps of the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, and the commissioned corps of the Public Health Service, and then the armed forces are defined as Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard.
Okay.
So if he wanted to create a subsidiary of Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, or Coast Guard, he could do that. But if it's to be a co-equal branch and defined legally as an armed forces, Congress would have to act.
So all he really had to do to be within that structure was to say, I'm creating the Space Marines, and make them a division.
Or the Space Air Force.
Or the Space Air Force.
Which didn't he kind of say that it would be subsidiary of, but he wants it to be something different.
But he wants to be co-equal.
Right. So if it's just a subsidiary of the Air Force, which it sounds like that's what he actually signed, but he's just saying, I want it to eventually be co-equal, then, he's not necessarily contradicting himself, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
If Star Wars didn't suck so hard these days, he should rename it Star Force.
Star Wars, the new movie, Solo, I enjoyed. I
haven't even seen Solo yet. I'm talking about The Last Jedi.
It was all right.
Ugh.
It was all right.
It's horrible.
It was interesting because I don't know if we talked about it on the air or off the air, but I had brought up the fact that I was completely sucked out of my suspension of disbelief in the scene where Princess Leia. I don't know if this is a spoiler.
Yes, huge spoilers.
Big spoiler here about number 8.
The actress that played Princess Leia died.
She did die, and in the movie, there's a large explosion that they could have written her out with this large explosion, but instead this was
their opportunity, and they messed up.
Yeah, she flies out into space due to this explosion.
She survived the explosion somehow.
Yeah.
Did she have an umbrella? Because I've heard people describe it as Mary Poppins.
Yeah, she might as well have.
Mary Poppins had an umbrella when she flew.
She does like a Superman move and just kind of like flies right on back in.
Okay, that one scene that you just described, that's how I saw the entire movie.
Did she go back to Alderaan?
Every scene was just like that.
So Mark Edge defended it. I think it was Mark Edge. He defended it by saying that science shows that you can survive for like 90 seconds in the vacuum of space.
But where did she figure out the Force that she's never been able to wield ever
before? He had claimed that she had been able to wield the Force.
Yeah, she had feeling. She could feel the presence of her brother and her father.
I don't know. He seemed to claim that she had more
well,
power.
Mark is going to continue to defend.
I'd love to have you debate him on that.
Crappy, superpower movies or superhero movies.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So otherwise
Space
I thought
Force.
it was entertaining.
Get it right, Trump.
No, can we call it Starship Troopers?
Spaceship Troopers.
I really ought to watch Starship Troopers again as an adult because I think when it came out, it was like 96.
Oh, the propaganda
97.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
You can really tell. Hello, citizen.
Right.
Wow.
The military recruiting
it's actually worth watching again. The bug killing is stupid, but the propaganda and the going to war against these bugs that are halfway across the solar system.
I remember it being very fascist when I watched it, and
intentionally pro-fascist, but it's actually anti-fascist.
Correct. That's my understanding, but I bet you I'd pick up a lot more of it these days as I would have as a teenager or whatever when it came out. So you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Your comments on the so-called Space Force. Conan, I don't know if there's more worth sharing. I think you probably got the story out there.
Just that Trump, like he always does, dropping whoppers every week, and it's like, does he? What is he really doing? What is he really about?
Well, Popular Science has an article about this, and they say that No one knows yet if this Space Force will involve eventually putting military personnel in space, or if it will simply involve boots on Earth and lots of robots in the sky.
Either way, I oppose it. Drones. Because I'm anti-war.
Well, we don't have the money.
Pro-peace.
And we don't have the money.
Even if we had the money, I would still oppose it.
Right, because peace. 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. They ought to abolish the military entirely.
Yes.
All of it. It's Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and join us on the radio waves. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Liberty.menu. Got a chance to hang out with Patrick from Liberty.menu this weekend. He was there cooking up some delicious breakfast burritos for
yes, he was.
At least 3 out of the 5 days at the Forkfest, which we went to. The second annual Forkfest was this weekend and just wrapped up on Monday. Technically, it ended early Tuesday.
Right.
And made some great. So he's not only is he a talented programmer, but he's also an excellent breakfast cook. And I was happy that he was there doing that because he was the only one who was there doing that at Forkfest. Now, Forkfest isn't a big event. It maybe hit 100 people on Saturday, which in my opinion was about 2 or 3 times what it was last year. I think at least 3 times what it was at that time last year. And then, that's not a whole lot of people, but that's still hungry people. I mean, there's still 100 hungry people who are going to wake up in the morning. They're going to want something to eat. There was one guy who was doing pancakes way up in the campsites, but the breakfast burritos were definitely attracting a lot of attention, and Patrick had more orders than he could handle. So I hope that the lack of food vendors will encourage some more food vendors to actually show up earlier at Forkfest 2019.
Yeah, Conan.
That might be up my alley.
Next year, because there's no cost to vend at Forkfest.
Yep.
There's no board of directors. There's no organizers. There's no ticket price. So the attendees don't have to pay for a ticket to go there. The vendors don't have to pay for a special permit or a special pass. So all you got to do is just reserve your campsite, bring your cooking equipment, set up, and open up shop. Unless you want to be an obedient slave and then contact the state government and give them tax money or ask for a health permit or some crap. But I'm pretty sure none of the people who are cooking at Forkfest jumped through any kind of bureaucratic hurdles, and I don't think the park gave them any trouble about it either. So I was really happy with how everything turned out this weekend. Patrick's website is liberty.menu. It's been around for about a year now as of Forkfest 2018.
He relaunched it about a year ago. The website itself had been around for a while. And we did talk last week where I got the emails about the listings needing to be renewed.
Yeah, that's right.
And I said that when I went, I didn't see the option. Patrick did fix that. Apparently, he noticed the problem when he went to renew one of his listings. And he didn't see an option, and so he went on to a forum for whatever the base software is. And they said, oh, yeah, most people don't use this software for this. You just need to click this box here.
Got it.
And
Solved.
he was like, oh, okay, solved, done.
So yeah, check out liberty.menu. If you've got a liberty-oriented business, if you're freedom-friendly, if you want other libertarians to know you exist, that's what liberty.menu allows you to do. It allows you to get the word out about your website or about your business, your physical location, whatever it is you want to promote. Maybe it's another event. So you've got some other event thing going on. Darryl, you were in Omaha recently for a convention there. Forkfest was actually prominently featured on Liberty.menu, so I expect Forkfest 2019 will also be prominently featured there. And he made it so you could actually create sub-events within Forkfest, so that was awesome. So there's events listings. There's actually a listing for digital content that you create. So if you're a creator of videos or audio or something like that, you can put that up there too. So go to go to liberty.menu. You can also go to forkfest.party to learn more about that. Liberty.menu and get your business up listed because it's completely free to do that. So really, there's no reason why you shouldn't, unless, of course, you want to stay in the closet and not let anyone know that you care about freedom. So liberty.menu.
You got to come out the closet.
There you go. So let's see. We were talking about the Space Force. I think we're pretty much wrapped.
But I had questions about whether or not this is even allowed in accordance with the space treaty.
Oh, and the space treaty with the other nations about not having
weapons
in space, you mean?
Right, and apparently it's not all weapons that are banned.
But we're pulling out of every treaty with the other nations that you can speak of, so this is probably Trump's attempt to get us out of the space treaty.
Well, the space treaty only bans weapons of mass destruction being in the Earth's orbit, installing them on the moon or on other celestial bodies, or otherwise stationing them in outer space. Also limits use of the moon and other celestial bodies to peaceful purposes, and prohibits the use of testing weapons of any kind on those bodies, but it does not prohibit the placement of conventional weapons in orbit.
Wait. So, it says weapons of any kind, but not conventional weapons. So
No. Prohibits the use of outer space bodies. So,
but you can put them there.
You can't test weapons on the moon. It limits use of the moon to peaceful purposes only.
Okay.
So no, you can't station a missile depot on the moon.
What about Trump Tower? But you can put weapons. You can't put lasers in Earth's orbit floating around over China, and that would be completely
lasers
acceptable.
Considered conventional weapons? I don't think they are. That seems very unconventional.
Okay, a missile launcher.
As long as it's not considered a quote-unquote weapon of mass destruction.
Our toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Let's change gears. Let's get into the Canadian cannabis legalization, which I'd actually had a story for a while, but it's actually apparently happening now. Like it's not coming. It's here.
A-hoser. Yeah. I said A-hoser.
Oh, yeah.
BBC has the story here that the Cannabis Act passed its final hurdle on Tuesday with a vote of 52 to 29 in the Canadian Senate. The bill controls and regulates how cannabis can be grown, distributed, and sold. Canadians will be able to buy and consume cannabis legally as early as September.
Okay. So they passed some other thing that's finalizing the deal, basically.
No. So passing the Senate was the final step of the legislation.
Okay. Got it.
The country now becomes the second in the entire world to, according to the BBC, legalize recreational use of cannabis.
Yep.
They're not counting Portugal that removed criminal penalties because it's not allowing for tax and regulated legal sales.
Correct.
It's just not punishing anybody for having a personal amount, which they define as like a 10-day supply.
But they're still punishing distributors.
In Portugal, probably they're also still punishing people by forcing them into treatment, as I understand the Portugal system. But it's still, the one thing you can really go to for across-the-board drug decrim in Portugal, because it's not just cannabis that they decriminalize. They decriminalize personal possession of all drugs.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what you got, heroin, LSD, you name it.
Yeah, I don't think weed was their problem. The reason they decided to decriminalize because of opium.
Or whatever.
Or, the heroin. Dirty needles and AIDS.
Yeah.
Those are the big ones.
And the addiction went down. And usage,
and the HIV, the AIDS went down as well.
Yep, because people are not afraid to seek help in that country. And anybody that wants to really do some digging and we're not going to dig into it tonight. We have in the past. But if you want to really learn about the effects of full-on, across-the-board decriminalization, in this case just for small amounts, they've really had a lot of experience with it in Portugal, and it's been going strong, and it's been going very successfully for, I think, more than 15 years.
15 years, yes. and it's
at this
no
point.
one.
I think it's 16 or 17 at this
no
point.
one is catching on. It seems you still got the drug warriors like Sessions, who are all about prohibition, even though we in our own history, not too long ago, didn't work very well.
So what's going on in Canada? What's the latest?
Article continues, again, mentioning the other country, Uruguay, that became the first to legalize the sale of cannabis for recreational use in 2013.
Right.
Cannabis possession in Canada first became a crime in 1923, but medical use has been legal since 2001. The legislation will likely receive royal assent later this week, and the government will then choose an official date when the law will go into force. So let me explain a little bit of what that royal assent is.
It's the Queen.
It's the Queen through the appointed Governor General. It's kind of like how in the U.S., legislature passes something, it goes to the governor for a veto. This, it just goes to the Governor General for, yes, the Queen approves.
All right, more coming up here. We'll tell you more about what's happening in Canada, and if you're up there, you want to comment, you're certainly welcome to join us. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Suds Shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe, great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
Like most married couples, Dale and Barbara Patterson like to shake things up from time to time. The couple of 12 years says they've been able to keep their relationship spontaneous and interesting by bickering in all sorts of different positions and even different rooms.
There was a while there when our petty nitpicking got pretty predictable. Dale would finish harping on some stupid bullshit first, and before I had time to get a word in, he would just let out a groan, roll over, and fall asleep. Now he really takes his time ripping me a new one over every little thing.
Yeah, we'll just pounce on each other the second we get home from work in the evening. And then just go right back at it in the morning. I mean, sometimes we'll look at each other directly in the eyes when we're having an argument. Other times she turns her back on me and I just scream at her from behind.
We're not exactly shy about doing it in public anymore. Dale gets pretty worked up when there are people around who could be watching or listening.
I still can't believe you forgot.
Not now.
Oh, come on.
I said not now.
Oh,
what?
Don't even.
Don't even what? I asked.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and join us here. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Also, there's Discord. The on-air call-in line room there on Discord is available to you. I had found out, by the way, if people were wondering what happened with Bad Penguin earlier when I put him on hold, he had disconnected and said he would try again at a later time because I suggested that he use a different device. He said he was using the same device he'd always used, but he was going to look for like some kind of a different headset or whatever. And I said, just put Discord on your phone and then call us on Discord.
Or put Skype on your phone.
No, Skype sucks. compared to Discord. It's a lot harder to use Skype. If you don't have a Skype account already, you have to jump through all these Microsoft hoops to create a Microsoft ID.
Right, but he called you on Skype initially.
Yeah, he already has an account, so all you do is just put the app on your phone. It's really easy.
But he's already on Discord.
But but Discord is also easy, so it's
easier than Skype. Discord's easier than Skype, and you get the ability to chat with other Free Talk Live listeners.
This is true.
He's already using Discord. So all you got to do is put Discord on your phone, and you don't have to even do any settings, because on your computer you got to choose your sound card, choose your microphone. When I've tried Discord, it's just you join the room and you're connected. So it's super easy, and you can go and get Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. There are apps for basically the phones and the operating systems and whatever you want, or you can just use their browser version too. So if you don't want to install an app, you don't have to. Discord.lrn.fm. And if you want to use Skype, you can. But honestly, the codec that Discord uses is better than Skype. The same person on Skype sounds worse than if they use Discord. In my experience, Discord's got a better sound quality to it. So there you go. As we continue here, toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Still to come, we've got a story about Americans and their poor saving habits. They are not getting any better, and we can jump into that here in a little bit. But we've been discussing Canada and their cannabis legalization plan, which just passed.
Cannabis!
Yeah.
Screw Canada.
And it just passed the Canadian Senate, going on the way to the Great Britain, where the Queen...
technically, it doesn't have to travel across the pond.
Okay, she's got a representative over
Correct.
in Canada.
The Governor General that is appointed by the Queen.
I see.
Who acts on behalf of the Queen, gives what is referred to here as royal assent.
Got it.
That's expected to happen sometime this week.
But could he also royally veto?
He could.
Okay.
He doesn't have to say, yes, the crowd approves.
And he's not elected, right? So
he's appointed by the Queen.
Right. So if he vetoes this, the people of Canada can't really do anything about it.
I think the Parliament can still override a veto. But continuing on, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau tweeted that until now it's been too easy for kids to get marijuana and for criminals to reap the profits. Today we changed that. Our plan to legalize and regulate marijuana just passed the Senate. # promise kept. But some groups objected to the new law with, take a guess, conservatives voicing concerns, along with some indigenous groups for some reason. The government is expected to give provinces and territories, as well as municipalities, somewhere between 8 to 12 weeks to set up new marijuana marketplaces.
We got to stop these things, because they could encourage children to inject marijuana, and that is highly dangerous.
Yeah, don't inject marijuana. Never, ever, ever inject marijuana.
What will stop children from injecting marijuana?
Learning how to use it properly, which does not include needles.
I don't know if that's not a thing anymore, right?
No, it never was.
It's always about the brain, the functioning of the younger brains.
That's the claim.
They're still developing, and the weed is it's like drinking coffee or smoking cigarettes. It's bad for kids.
I smoked weed when I was 16. I mean,
I know. Look at you now.
Alcohol is bad for kids, but it's still legal. Oh, right. That's because that's one of the politicians' drugs of choice.
Wait, no, it's illegal for children to have alcohol, and obviously they never get their hands on any alcohol whatsoever.
Right, but I'm saying that retail sales of alcohol are legal
to people 21 and up, and so clearly no one under the age of 21 ever gets their hands on any alcohol, because it's illegal, and people would never do anything.
Right, that's how nobody does drugs now, because it's illegal.
No children ever do drugs. No children ever use alcohol. What are you talking about?
The article here continues. The time frame, that 8 to 12 week time frame, will also allow industry and police forces to prepare for the new legal framework. In 2015, Canadians were estimated to have spent about 6 billion Canadian dollars, roughly 4.5 billion US dollar equivalent on cannabis, almost
illegally,
as much as they did on wine.
The illegal cannabis, right? They're not talking about medical.
It doesn't specify.
Not clear. Yeah, it's not clear.
It's not clear, and it links over to another article that might be too long to try figuring out.
Now, I
very
noticed
briefly.
they talked about industry getting prepared for this. Does that mean that it's not going to be government distributed, or does it mean that private industry is going to grow the pot, but the government's going to sell it? Because the last I heard, they were proposing it be in the government wine stores, like with the total government distribution.
It's not clear because it says that the government is expected to give provinces and territories as well as municipalities 8 to 12 weeks to set up new marijuana marketplaces. But then it talks about industry, so it's not clear at all. It's likely that by mid-September, Canadians will have the ability to buy cannabis and cannabis oil grown by licensed producers at various retail locations. Canadians across the country will also be able to order online from federally licensed producers and to grow up to 4 plants at their own home. Adults will be able to possess up to 30 grams of dried cannabis in public. They refer to that as 1 ounce, and there's 2 different types of ounces. One's 28 grams and the other's 30.
All right, I've answered the question. From Ontario.ca in their frequently asked questions about cannabis legalization. Question: where to buy recreational cannabis? Answer: when it's legal, people 19 and over will be able to purchase cannabis in person or online through the Ontario Cannabis Store. You will be able to purchase up to 30 grams, as you mentioned, for personal use at one time. The Ontario Cannabis Store will be the, in bold, only store that can legally sell recreational cannabis, and unbolded will follow strict rules set by the federal government.
But distributors could be private businesses. But
that's not clear. You're speculating.
Yeah, I am speculating.
Well, it mentions
like
here
they do here in New
federally
Hampshire.
licensed growers.
Okay.
So they have to get licensed to grow, but then they can't sell it unless it's the specified
through this
federal
monopoly, through a federal monopoly.
Right. So in New Hampshire, you can make wine and alcohol. You just then have to sell it to the Liquor Commission before they can sell it in their approved stores.
Right.
Right. But
Continuing
in
on.
New Hampshire, and New Hampshire's bad because there is a Liquor Commission and they have total control over liquor and all other forms of alcohol. But at the very least, they allow wine and beer to be sold in grocery stores and in convenience stores. It's only the hard liquor that you can get exclusively through the state-run liquor stores.
Right.
This will not allow for marijuana, at least in Ontario province, and maybe the other provinces are different, but it will allow for only this one store, which will be government-run, basically, it sounds like.
But my understanding of, even the local places that sell wine, that must be purchased if the wine producer produces over a certain amount. It all has to funnel through the Liquor Commission.
Oh, yeah. They've
even
got their
to
hands
the
all
local
over it.
retailers.
Yeah.
Continuing on here, they say that edibles or cannabis-infused foods will not be immediately available for purchase, but will be within a year of the bill coming into force. The delay is meant to give the government time to set up regulations specific to those products. The minimum legal age to consume cannabis had been set federally at 18, but some provinces have chosen to set it at 19. So that's why Ontario is saying 19.
So you'll be able to drink at 18 in Ontario province, I believe.
Unless Ontario has set their age for drinking at 19 as well.
Isn't Ontario... Oh, wait, yeah, I'm thinking Quebec. Because I know Quebec, it's 18.
Provinces are in charge of how it's sold and have the power to set various other limits on its use within their jurisdiction, like where it can be smoked. But the federal government has set guidelines for plain packaging with little branding and strict health warnings. It will also impose restrictions on promotions targeting young people, promotions through sponsorships, or depictions of celebrities, characters, or animals in advertisements.
I feel bad for the folks in Ontario province. They're going to have to deal with this awful monopoly that claims they're going to offer delivery of this product, which it's going to be slow. It's going to suck. That the service is going to be terrible, that the choices will be limited. It's government monopoly
and more expensive
weed.
than it should be.
And there's probably going to be a Captain Crunch version of, oops, just seeds and stems.
What?
There was the Captain Crunch, the oops, all berries.
Oh, the berries thing.
Because it's government running it, somebody is going to get a bag of just seeds and stems.
Yeah, but all berries is good.
Yeah. All right. So more coming
You
up
got that
here.
one backwards, Darryl.
We got more on the way. You can share your thoughts, especially if you're up in Canada and you want to comment on the impending legalization across the entire nation. The second one in the world to do this. Hour 3's next on Free Talk Live.
How well and how fast does Heart and Body Extract work to improve blood circulation? Listen.
My name is Ellis, and I am 66 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed as having clogged arteries. I had 70% blockage in one artery leading to my heart. They wanted me to go on Plavix, but I refused, knowing the negative side effects.
Heart and Body Extract is a unique balance, synergy, and proportion of herbs reaching from head to toe at maximum absorption around 95% at the cellular level.
Within the first month, I felt a dramatic difference. The heaviness in my legs was reduced, and within 2 months, I felt completely normal.
Your natural organic herbal formula for heart health is Heart and Body Extract. Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract. Call 866-295-5305, 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 20th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.29 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,625. Antiwar.com reports after months of threats, the Trump administration announced Tuesday that they are withdrawing the United States from the United Nations Human Rights Council. Officials said the move was because the body is too critical of Israel's human rights record. Israel has long agitated for the U.S. to withdraw from the body and ratchets that up every time the UN starts investigating a new round of killings in the occupied territories. The U.S. has been talking up the move for a while. The outgoing UN Human Rights Council leader, Zaid Ra'ad al-Hussein, said it was disappointing, if not really surprising. He also said that the U.S. should be stepping up, not stepping back. His last address to the forum as leader came Monday, during which he criticized the U.S. over its treatment of undocumented migrants at the border. That's probably not the direct reason for the U.S. withdrawal, given how long they've threatened to do so. Distancing the U.S. from UN bodies over Israel is a long-standing policy across several administrations and was likely just a matter of timing. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump told Republican lawmakers on Tuesday he would back either of the immigration bills making their way through the House of Representatives as the outcry grew over the administration's separation of immigrant parents and children at the U.S.-Mexico border. Representative Mark Meadows said Trump told Republican members of the House at a meeting on Capitol Hill that they needed to get something done on immigration right away. Representative Tom Cole added that in the meeting, Trump said separating families was certainly not an attractive thing and does look bad. Congressional Republicans Republicans have been scrambling to craft legislation as videos of young children in cages and an audio tape of wailing children have sparked anger at home from groups ranging from clergy to influential business leaders, as well as condemnation abroad. A Reuters Ipsos national opinion poll released on Tuesday showed that 28% of people polled supported the policy, while 58% opposed it, and the remaining 15% said they were unsure. Trump, who has made a tough stance on immigration a centerpiece of his presidency, has staunchly defended his administration's actions. He has cast blame for the family separations on Democrats, although his fellow Republicans control both chambers in Congress, and his own administration implemented the current policy of strict adherence to immigration laws. The president has sought to link the end of family separations to passage of a wider bill on immigration, which would include funding for his long-sought border wall with Mexico, prompting Democrats to accuse him of using children as hostages. White House spokesman Raj Shah said of Trump, in his remarks he endorsed both House immigration bills that build the wall, close legal loopholes, cancel the visa lottery, curb chain migration, and solve the border crisis and family separation issues by allowing for family detention and removal. Earlier on Tuesday, the president tried again to blame Democrats for what he called loopholes in the law that require families detained for entering the country illegally to either be separated or released. In remarks to the National Federation of Independent Businesses, Trump said he wanted Congress to give him the legal authority to detain and deport families together. House Republicans were working on a revised draft of one version of an immigration overhaul that would prevent family separations in some cases for those attempting illegal border crossings for the first time, according to a House Republican aide. The draft bill was seen just days ago as unlikely to pass, but has gained support in the House, and it was unclear whether the new language about preventing family separations would improve its chances for passage. Both Republican bills under consideration, which have been blasted by Democrats and immigration advocacy groups, would fund the border wall and reduce legal migration, in part by denying visas for some relatives of U.S. residents and citizens who are living abroad, sometimes referred to as chain migration. The more conservative bill from Representative Bob Goodlatte would also deny Dreamers the chance of future citizenship.
Whether you're looking for bitcoins or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A report on obesity rates released this week by the CDC confirmed that millions of courageous Americans continue to overcome the media's persistent pressure to be thin. Researchers told reporters that while the vast majority of film and television continues to portray thin, in-shape people, over 30% of Americans remain resolved in their effort to stand up to idealized images of men and women.
Every day, people are inundated with unvarying images of slim men and women, but millions of heroic Americans continue doing their best every day to maintain BMIs of 35 or higher. These people aren't afraid to fly in the face popular culture deems acceptable and bravely eat and drink whatever they want, whenever they want.
In other news, the nation's single men announce a plan to change their bed sheets by 2019. A woman who left the room crying earlier expects to jump back into the party just like that. And a courtroom artist is clearly infatuated with the bailiff. This 2.5-minute long session of immersion therapy is finally complete. Your crippling fear of watching video news recaps should no longer be a problem. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free, take control of the airwaves. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Of course, you can bring up anything that you want here on the radio, but for those of you just tuning in, we are talking about the Canadian plans, and there are different plans within Canada.
Lots of plans.
For cannabis legalization. The Senate apparently just, yesterday or today or something?
Passed, Tuesday, I think it said.
Yeah, very recently passed the cannabis legalization legislation that will presumably be assented to by the royal government in the UK via their governor in Canada. And then it'll be going into place presumably by September, October, in that range, where after that, the different provinces in Canada will have their own distribution rules set up. So they are able to have some level of control over how cannabis is distributed.
Right.
And there will be a bit of a variation, some quite significant, in how that's going to happen. We'll touch on that coming up here. But Darryl, you had a little bit more to share from which source were you using?
BBC.
The BBC. Okay.
And again, they mentioned that possession of more than 30 grams in public will be illegal. It will also be illegal to grow more than 4 plants per household or to purchase from an unlicensed dealer. And the penalties will be somewhat severe. Someone caught selling cannabis to a minor, that being someone under the age of 18 or 19, depending on the province, could be imprisoned for up to 14 years.
Wow.
Some critics said the penalties are too harsh.
Yeah, somebody under 19 or 18, depending.
Some critics said the penalties are too harsh and not proportioned to similar laws like those around selling alcohol to similarly aged individuals.
Or killing someone. 14 years, wow.
That was it?
There's more where they talk about what the laws are around the world. Interestingly, though, cannabis is not legal in the UK. Apparently, the UK government recently said that they would begin the review of medicinal cannabis.
But they have banned knives.
That's right.
They've banned almost everything in the UK.
You can have a knife with a permit if you're like a chef or something like that.
Otherwise, you need the safety scissor style knife to where
you can't cut butter.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, you could probably cut butter if you put it in the microwave first, but you definitely could not cut a steak.
Story from, let's see, the CBC, which is, of course, the Canadian Broadcast Company, being a essentially propaganda arm for the government. But interestingly, they are releasing an interesting piece about Quebec. Headline: when it comes to cannabis, Quebec is as conservative as they come. Because I wanted to find out. We were reading about Ontario. I just did a quick search for cannabis legalization and in Canada, and the Ontario rules came up first, where they're going to have the government running the official stores. There will be no private distribution. There may be some private growers. So at the wholesale level, there may be some private people, but ultimately they'll only be serving one distribution point, even though it may have multiple stores across the province.
Right.
And
well, one more thing before you jump into your article, Conan, you had asked about why set the limit where they did, because like the human brain isn't fully developed until like some point after 18. And they mention here that one specific concern was raised about setting the age at 25. Which is when a lot of people say that's when the human brain is finally finished developing. But the government's own task force recommended 18, warning that setting the age limit too high could still, quote, continue to encourage youth to buy marijuana on the black market.
It sure would.
Taboo. Kids like to rebel against everyone, authority figures, their parents, the school, whatever. And this is the best way to do that.
Right. Young people have been buying cannabis forever without permission from the government, and so that's you're just going to criminalize more people
and get them killed smoking bad herb or oregano.
It's pretty rare that somebody. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever died from smoking bad herb, but certainly smoking moldy pot could have some undesirable consequences.
Smoking mold will have undesirable consequences. Right. Smoking out of a Pepsi bottle will have undesirable consequences.
It could be pretty gross. And mold could, in theory, kill you if it's the right kind of mold. So don't smoke moldy weed, kids. And, of course, if it were legal for anybody to purchase, the weed would never be moldy because mold is a byproduct, generally, of the black market distribution of cannabis, and the fact that, for instance, an unscrupulous black market dealer may take some cannabis. Let's say they've got 10 pounds of cannabis. They're a mid-level dealer or whatever, and they spray it down with water.
All right.
Wait, what? Oh, to make it heavier?
To make it heavier, because it's sold by weight. And so they can, they won't spray it soaking it, although I have seen that one time where I could press the buds and it literally was like soaking. So if it's soaked down with water, or if it even has a little bit of water on it, it's going to be heavier. and it's more likely to mold, especially if you keep it inside a closed bag.
Right.
So then you pay all this ridiculous money, and
you
then
need to get on Yelp and label that seller as a bad seller.
Yeah, you can't do that in the black market.
Yelp for drug users.
CBC.ca reporting here, when Quebec passed its cannabis legalization or legislation into law this week, and this was written last week, Public Health Minister Lucie Charlebois stressed, not for the first time, that legalizing the drug was Ottawa's idea. Quote, "It's important that Quebecers, or Québécois, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, know that the federal government took the decision, and we are making measures that we think are going to protect the health and safety of the population," she said. In other words, the province got it done, but not by choice. Indeed, Quebec will be among the most conservative jurisdictions in the country when it comes to the sale, distribution, and consumption of cannabis. Quebec's approach most clearly contrasts with Ottawa and most of the country on the question of home growing. The federal government wants to allow people to grow up to 4 plants at home, but the government in Canada is against the idea, the government in Quebec is against the idea. The province is one of only 3 jurisdictions in Canada that hope to ban home grow. Manitoba and Nunavut are the other 2, though Nunavut as well recently walked back that plan. Last week, the Senate introduced an amendment to the Cannabis Act that would let provinces decide whether to allow home growing, but the federal government rejected that change. The conflict.
So maybe if the people of Quebec aren't happy with this legislation, they should, consider seceding, which they've been trying to do for a really long time.
Yep, and it turns out, we'll give you the polling numbers in Quebec here in a moment. The conflict could lead to a complex legal battle between Quebec and Ottawa. The province has made it clear it has no intention of backing down. Charlebois said after her government's bill was passed, quote, "We're ready to fight. That's what people asked for," unquote. Quebecers are worried that if the province opens the door to homegrown cannabis, some people will grow too much for their own consumption and then be tempted to sell it. Charlebois said earlier this year they also worry, she said, that teenagers might come across their parents' pot and sample it.
As if they don't also come across the parents' alcohol and maybe want to try, what's this whiskey stuff taste like? What's this tequila stuff taste like?
And of course, the suggestion here is that it's as dangerous, if not more so. Cannabis is more dangerous than alcohol, which of course is ridiculous.
Right, they would probably say more dangerous, even though how many people has overdosing on marijuana killed?
0.
Oh, right, that's 0.
Her comments are reflected in the opinion polls, which suggest that Quebecers tend to be more wary of marijuana than, say, sharing a bottle of wine while having a picnic in the park, which is permitted in Montreal. Contrary to Quebec's reputation as the most libertine province in Canada, only 46% of Quebecers are in favor of legalization, compared to 58% in the rest of the country, according to a poll conducted last year for Radio Canada. So that's a significant difference there.
Yeah.
12%.
I always thought Quebec was the most liberal area of
No, they're just the most French.
Quebec ranks near the middle of the pack.
That's exactly why I thought that.
When it comes to consuming marijuana, the province consumes 18 grams per capita compared with the countrywide average of 21 grams. And while the Couillard government's cannabis rules may be tough, they weren't tough enough to win over the opposition parties, who wanted even more restrictions. The Parti Québécois argued for, and aren't they the secessionists, the Parti Québécois?
I think so.
They argued for tighter controls on where cannabis can be smoked in public. Under the new law, it will follow many of the same rules as tobacco. While the coalition Avenir Québec wanted the age limit raised from 18 to 21. So only Québec Solidaire, which holds 3 seats, voted with the Liberals. Next up, we'll tell you a little bit more about the plans in Quebec and compare and contrast to some of the other provinces here in the CBC report. Your calls and thoughts are certainly welcome. And if we get the chance, we'll also talk about Uruguay's cannabis legalization, which has been in place for a few years.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Skype username's LRN.FM. You can call us there. You can also call us on the Discord on-air call-in line room. Jump into our Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, as well as government overspending and the rise of the police state. It's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. We're sharing with you details, the ugly details of cannabis legalization in Canada. And like with the U.S. states, there's a variety in how, these things are set up. In Canada, it looks like the federal government is moving towards legalization, approval of legalization. The Senate just passed it just a day or two ago, and now it's going on for governmental, or the UK's government's assent, which will come from the governor of the UK
Governor General.
And all the spending that was used enforcing the past drug laws. All the law enforcement agents going out there rounding people up. They're not losing their jobs. They're just changing their job description, and they're going after the guys growing 5 weed plants in the backyard,
or
the guys
someone consuming in public,
or selling without a permit,
without a license.
Yeah.
So the only difference is, of course, that the government's going to be making a lot more revenue, but they're not actually spending less money on the drug war.
The war will continue.
The
war will continue
until morale improves.
And the same thing's true in the United States.
Yep.
I mean, it's still illegal to sell cannabis if you don't have a government permission slip in every state that has legalized cannabis. So I hope, and it's a weak hope. It's probably never going to happen, but at least not in any time soon. I'd love to see New Hampshire break that trend. I'd love to see New Hampshire just end prohibition on cannabis, but convincing politicians to not create a regulatory structure is like an impossible task. They want the tax revenue.
I was actually talking with a state rep a good while back about, could you just, introduce a bill to strike the word marijuana or cannabis
Which
from
someone did for
New
hemp.
Hampshire statutes?
Someone did that for hemp.
It doesn't strike the word hemp from the statutes. It says hemp is not a controlled substance.
Okay.
But then it was amended to create a study committee to look at whether or not we should maybe at some point make hemp not a controlled substance.
But it'll be sad if the federal government beats them to that, because that's part of the upcoming, what's it called, States Act? The federal government?
That's probably not going anywhere.
Too bad.
There's a bunch of legislation that gets filed. The vast majority never goes anywhere.
All right.
But I had asked about, just like strike the word marijuana from statute. And he said that would actually be worse because another statute refers to possession of any Scheduled I substance.
Mm-hmm.
And because marijuana is on the federal Schedule I, it would then just default to whatever the other penalties.
So they'd have to disconnect from the federal schedule somehow.
Either that or pass something that says marijuana is not considered a Schedule I substance in accordance with New Hampshire statutes, and then also strike all reference.
So we're talking about Quebec and how conservative their proposed changes here, their proposed regulatory structure
but
is.
Then
Canada.
Just a thought of, if you strike reference, the medical patients would probably get upset because then it would totally do away with the alternative treatment centers that exist.
Get rid of that crap. Make it so anybody can grow or sell cannabis anywhere, anytime in the state of New Hampshire.
I'm just saying the medical lobby would come out and say, we can't do this because we need to have these facilities, without realizing that, no, then you'd be able to go down to the corner store and buy it.
Yep, but the medical industry doesn't want that. The nurses and doctors might want it, but they're probably afraid that they won't be able to fill a prescription or write one out if they don't have these legal entities.
Well, I've heard that a lot of doctors are scared to even write therapeutic cannabis prescriptions for some weird reason.
Giving it to someone who doesn't really need it, probably. And it'll come back on them.
It's impossible to prove that because, anybody can claim to have chronic pain or whatever. There's certain things that you can kind of qualify with in a lot of these states where the doctor should feel okay about, their safety. And there's not like you're hearing stories about doctors getting arrested wholesale in Colorado, right? Has anybody heard a story like that?
Well, in Colorado, you don't need the doctor's note anymore.
Well, okay.
Because you can go get retail.
And eventually we're not going to
medical marijuana dispensaries getting rounded up, but not the actual doctors writing the prescriptions.
So if you thought, Darryl, that what they call the ATCs, these alternative treatment centers in New Hampshire, where there are only 4 for the entire state,
they're up to double that.
Did that pass?
That did pass, and I believe it was signed by the governor.
Okay, well, that's good news, and hopefully that'll mean we'll get one here in our little city of Keene, because there is not one in this immediate area. But if you thought it was bad to only have 4 stores in all of New Hampshire, wait till you hear about Quebec's plan. The story here from CBC continues. Quebec is also tightly controlling the sale of cannabis and trails well behind other provinces when it comes to production of the drug. Marijuana will only be available for purchase at carefully curated stores and on a website run by the Société Québécoise du Cannabis, the new government entity overseen by Quebec's Liquor Board. So far, Quebec has announced a plan for a mere 4 stores across the entire province.
And Quebec has a lot more territory.
Yeah, than New Hampshire.
Yes.
Though it does say it plans to have 20 open by December. Other provinces, including British Columbia, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, are experimenting with private enterprise. So if you're over in Vancouver, you will have the opportunity to purchase from private stores, unlike Ottawa and Quebec, where it will be a government-run monopoly that is selling cannabis. So again, as I point out here, the private stores will probably be more flexible in responding to spikes in consumer demand. Quebec's Union of Agricultural Producers has, in the meantime, encouraged farmers to think about the enormous economic potential of growing marijuana. They estimate that cannabis production could generate between $500 million and $700 million annually, but Health Canada has awarded only 8 licenses for the production of medicinal marijuana in Quebec, compared with 59 of them issued in Ontario.
All right, so just comparing sizes here. Yeah. New Hampshire is
1.3 million population.
Yep. No.
Oh, the actual size.
9,349 square miles.
9,000.
Quebec is 595,391 square miles.
And what's their population? Probably the same as New Hampshire.
No, their population is about 8.5 million.
Okay, it's not that. It's bigger, but it's not a heavily populated.
No. Well, most of Canada.
I wasn't talking about heavily populated. I was talking landmass.
The biggest province has 14 million people.
But their landmass compared to their population, they are much more spread out. Those people are much more spread out than we are here in New Hampshire.
Per square mile, yeah.
And we're pretty spread out.
Well, a lot of those people live in the very southern portion.
Right.
The north is very, very sparse.
Right. That's true of all of Canada.
Right.
Quebec says they're not looking to make money from cannabis, despite potentially lucrative returns. Overall estimates of the Canadian market for pot vary widely, but range between 10 and 26 billion, according to different estimates, in annual sales. Even if they're low-end, estimates suggest a major opportunity. However, the parliamentary budget officer recently pegged the annual national demand for recreational pot at 650 to 690 tons, as though some government bureaucrat has any idea of what a legal marketplace in Canada would look like if it were actually unregulated, which, as we found out in Uruguay, the regulations have been preventing production. More coming up.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. We'll take your calls about whatever you want to discuss, although we're talking about cannabis legalization in Canada and the sort of the variety of rules on the province level as how this is going to go. Quebec, actually, according to the CBC, ranking in as the most conservative, not allowing any home grow, whereas in other provinces you can grow up to 4 plants in your home, which, if you know what you're doing, should net you a fair amount of constant weed, basically. Like if you have, start 1 seedling every week or whatever, that way you've constantly got, a flowering plant. Or
if you're growing them indoors. If you're growing them outside, maybe not so many.
Well, yeah, because it gets cold.
It gets cold.
You're crazy if you don't grow them indoors in Canada because, you're really limiting your abilities to harvest. And indoor growing is so affordable. I mean, it's so cheap these days to do that. It'd be crazy not to do that. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about. Of course, you can call in about what you want. Blink Home Security. If you're trying to protect your crop of marijuana, then you probably want to have a Blink Home Security system keeping an eye on things to make sure that no nasty burglars are coming in there, or at the very least, if they are, you might be able to identify them. So go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You can get your Blink Protect home security system for 15% off, which is already a good discount on top of the already very affordable system over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. They are a wireless camera security system, which means that the install could not be any easier. I know because I've gone through the process. Unbox it, put the batteries in that are included, and put the cameras up wherever you want them. What's that? You put them in a bad spot? No worries. You didn't have to run any wires, so just move the camera to a better position. It's super easy and convenient. You set it all up via your Wi-Fi-enabled device like a tablet or a smartphone, whether it's for your home or a small office. I think you'll find Blink Home Security is actually pretty darn good for the price. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL to get that 15%.
What kind of batteries and how long do they last?
Double A's. And when did Blink start, Darryl? Like September or something, maybe August. I feel like we're coming up on a year on Blink, if not a little bit longer.
They've been a company for much more than a year.
No, but I meant since they've been advertising with us.
I don't really know.
At least
and then there was a
months.
Gap in time.
There was a time when they dropped out. I don't know. I have not replaced the batteries yet. I'll tell you that.
That's good to know.
Anyway, blinkprotect.com/FTL. That was my first question too. Was how long are these things going to last?
And do you get a warning when they start to die out? I mean, wouldn't that be something that
I will let you know.
They're dead for a day, and there's no predictor letting you know.
I bet they do. I bet they're that smart. They must have thought of that.
Got to be.
I'll let you know though when that does happen, or if it doesn't. So let's continue here. Of course, you can bring up whatever you want. A little bit more here from the story of the CBC about Quebec province not being too friendly to cannabis legalization. Basically, they're doing it because they have to. They're coming up with rules for cannabis distribution that will allow only the province official monopoly retail stores to do this. They're not planning on having very many of those stores. And further, Finance Minister Carlos Letao told CBC's Daybreak earlier this year that he doesn't expect cannabis to, quote, ever be a huge source of revenue, unquote, for Quebec. The objective, he says, is to, quote, control and hopefully diminish consumption of this product.
Well, doesn't that actually happen whenever you legalize or decriminalize? Usage actually goes down?
Not necessarily. There have been some numbers that show that teenagers are less likely to start using cannabis if
there's a very short window where it bumps up a little of, ooh, I can go buy this thing.
Yeah.
I can get my hands on this easier. I want to try this thing.
And then once it's readily available, it's like, yeah, I don't really like this.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you look at Colorado and Washington State, they've had tremendous revenues, and obviously there's the tourist aspect.
Yeah, because everyone's coming out, from the four corners of the earth to come visit Colorado for whatever reason to get their green, to get their bud.
According to the story, regardless of how much the government earns on the sale of pot, it's promising $25 million a year that will be set aside for health initiatives and research. Even the government's expectations for its own legislation are conservative. After adopting the bill, Charlebois pointed out it wasn't perfect and that perhaps in the future Quebec would make it legal to grow 1 or 2 plants at home. But she said major concerns remain around health, and she stressed that pot is not a trivial substance. In other words, Quebec's legislation isn't likely to be relaxed anytime soon. And then there's other stories like over at seekingalpha.com where they have a chart comparing all the different provinces in Canada and how they're planning on distributing this. So there's only one province in Canada. That's the Saskatchewan province with a population of 1.2 million people where they're actually going to allow private distribution and private retail. So in other areas, it's sort of a mix. So in Ontario and Quebec, it's government retail. In British Columbia, it'll be a mix of private and government. In Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan, it'll be private retail. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI, all government, and then Newfoundland and Labrador at private. So it's going to be a patchwork across all of Canada as far as how this is done. The rules will be different, some allowing at age 18, some allowing at age 19, some allowing home grow, and others like Quebec not allowing home grow. So
this is federally mandated, so that...
It's federally mandated, so they all have to allow it.
So all the individual provinces won't have to worry about the government coming down on them like we do here in New Hampshire.
Presumably not, yeah.
Right, and that States Act that you were talking about...
In the United States.
That it's legislation pending in the U.S. Congress. It would wind up saying that, the federal government will respect state law, blah, 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 but also specify that a violation of state marijuana laws is a federal criminal thing.
Right.
So if, let's say, New Hampshire were to legalize and allow home grow of up to 6 mature plants, somebody has 7 mature plants, they could get a federal charge.
They could. If the feds became aware of that situation, which, again, would likely require, unless they were involved in the bust in the first place, would require local police.
Which they generally are, because that allows the local cops to wind up getting more money in the asset forfeiture because it allows them to circumvent whatever state laws exist on asset forfeiture.
I don't know if it's true that they generally are. They weren't involved in the Weeda Claus bust. They weren't involved in the bust next door here where my tenants were raided for growing marijuana years ago before the Keene Activist Center. I mean, I know of certain busts that had nothing to do with the federal government that had absolutely marijuana grow operations.
What about the head shop here in Keene? That stuff.
That was federal.
Yeah.
That was federal where the Keene police were only holding the door open. Everything there was DEA.
And that was because of what, synthetic marijuana?
That was the claim, but they had stopped selling the synthetic cannabis.
Right, and it was on the same day that there were these raids in, what was it, there were 25 different states?
Yeah, there were 200 raids across the United States simultaneously on various different head shops and bong manufacturers.
All coordinated by the feds with cooperation from locals.
From the locals.
During Obama.
And our mayor never liked that story. He probably was sitting in his office having a jolly laugh.
And that storefront is still empty. The storefront is still empty several years later.
Right. The raid happened in 2014, the summer of 2014. The video, by the way, is insane and pretty entertaining. You ought to check it out over at freekeen.com. Just search for Fat Stuff with a PHAT, Fat Stuff, and you'll probably find that video pretty quickly. And DEA. So they had undercover agents and everything, and they stole like $100,000 of store inventory. They ultimately ended up pleading on that deal, and he didn't, I don't think, had to serve any jail time, but basically forfeited every single piece of equipment, the truck that he had, the cash,
the house.
Did they get the house too?
I think they got everything that family owned.
Yeah, they destroyed this family, and basically they were divorcing because of all the stress that was caused upon the couple. They were originally planning to reopen in Brattleboro, and from what I understand, that never actually occurred. So they vacated the storefront, I think, in 2015. So it's basically been available for 3 years.
Yeah, and tell me how this outfit isn't just like the mafia. It's disgusting.
They are.
Oh, see, the mafia has a code of ethics that they abide by.
Yeah.
The mafia doesn't target women and children.
Right. This was a woman and children. There was a couple, a married couple, and they had kids. And they were good folks, that had employed people for years. That store wasn't new. They'd been around. They were down in a smaller town for a while, but they'd been around for almost like a decade prior to the raid. It's a sad one. Anyway, there's more coming up here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Heart-related health problems affect millions of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Here is what one satisfied customer had to say about Heart and Body Extract regarding his angina pain.
I haven't had an angina pain since I've been on it. The Heart Body Extract is just so great. I thank God that I was led to this product that's doing so much for me and that can do so much for other people.
Call to order your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Yeah, Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, take control of the airwaves, bring up what you want. And we are back on Twitch, by the way, so welcome back to our Twitch audience, which is a video streaming service, mostly for video games.
What happened to Twitch?
We were up in a campground, so you can't stream crap on that campground. I mean,
especially while you're recording. Well, I guess you can upload things that you record.
To Twitch, you could.
Yes.
You could do that. However, video is incredibly bandwidth intensive, so even if you were to do that, Darryl, you'd probably be sitting at McDonald's for a couple hours.
And then it's only up for what? What is the time limit?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Well, actually, that's an interesting question. Twitch,
unless you pay for extended.
No, Twitch.tv is a live streaming service primarily, and so when you stream live to the service, they will hold the live streams for about 2 weeks, unless you're one of their what they call Twitch partners. So if you become popular enough, they'll give you this partner status where you get a bit of a larger cut from the revenues of the subscriptions, and you can hold they'll hold your videos for like 60 days instead of 2 weeks. We're nowhere near becoming a Twitch partner, so like even though we've got a big national radio show, we can only push maybe 20 to 30 viewers on Twitch, and that's on a good night. Some nights it's like 10 to 20. And so you've got to hit 75 on average over a month-long time frame in order to be able to hit that partner status. So we're not even close to getting there. But if you upload a video to Twitch, so I've uploaded Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, and I've uploaded the 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, those do not appear to expire. Nice. So you can actually go and you can actually schedule the uploaded videos to run again. So if I wanted to schedule a broadcast of Victimless Crime Spree for tonight, I could do that. I haven't really done that much since I first uploaded it, but it's there, and it seems to have not been erased at all. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, Twitch is a great live streaming service. It's a great way to watch us in the studio here, and you can do it in HD quality, which you cannot get from our YouTube stream. So we are still on YouTube, but it's in a lower resolution format. In Twitch, we are HD, and we're 60 frames a second now, so you get the maximum quality possible. I mean, I guess not maximum. We could do 1080, but that's just...
You could do 4K.
On Twitch? I don't think so.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, it's in theory, 4K is the highest.
In theory, and these cameras can handle that we now have in the studio here, but there's just no reason for it. There's really no reason to be above 720 because, the more resolution you put in there, the more bandwidth it consumes, and so... Anyway, twitch.lrn.fm is where you can go to watch us there. Please follow the channel on Twitch. If you're a fan of what we do, if you like listening and watching to Free Talk Live, you can follow us there. And then if you've got the Twitch app on your phone and you've got notifications turned on for our channel, it'll ping you with a notification every time we go live, which is a pretty cool little reminder to remind you that we're still here doing our thing. And you can come watch or you can come listen, because with the Twitch app you can also use audio only. So if you prefer to actually, get other things done or surf your phone while you're still listening to Free Talk Live, you can do that with Twitch, which is nice. Now, of course, you can also watch us, or you can also listen to us via our live streams on various different platforms, and you can go to freetalklive.com to learn more about that. But again, to find our Twitch stream, and if you subscribe via the Twitch Prime or just the normal subscription, we appreciate that, and that'll get you special access to our to our subscribers' chat rooms, subscribers only on the Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. So Twitch and Discord are two of our newest features here on Free Talk Live. We started them in January, and the response has been very good. So once again, that's twitch.lrn.fm. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. We go to Skype, where David is on the line in New Mexico. Hello, David.
Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And speaking of that, the only thing you need 4K for is if you're doing porn.
Okay.
And so 1, 2, 3, Quebecer in English. And if you're speaking in French, then it's Québécois for male and Québécoise for female.
All right. Thank you for the French lesson.
Yep. What about the people, the Quebec people?
That's them. If you're a male Quebecer, you're a Québécois. And if you're a female, you're Québécois.
Conan's saying, what about the entirety of the people that are living in the province of Quebec?
I think it's the same, singular or plural. You can ask an expert, but I believe it's the same, singular or plural.
Well, you're the one giving the French lesson at the moment, so we're asking you.
Yeah, well, I'm not an expert. I just know as much as I do, so I just was going to share that.
All right, then.
And on the military, whatever civilians from Earth have in space, at this point, I guarantee you the military already has more. And then did you get an email that I sent you with an audio recording?
I have no idea. Because I'm way behind on emails, and I probably wouldn't listen to it anyway.
Sure. Well, if you did, this is an activism thing. There's some hope for people that are trying to. Like I told you before, the main local radio station here blocks my access to question my own U.S. representative on the air. They literally block me by name and phone number and don't allow me to question my own.
Yeah, you've called and complained about that before. What about it?
Yeah. So some small success, if a person keeps forcing it, the guy who runs that station in question, and I won't name anybody, I don't know what your rules are, but the guy who runs that station is in control of blocking my access to my politicians. Runs a very edgy radio show that actually pushes the limit and I believe goes over it. And I recorded him yesterday saying some things that were clearly over the limit. And I heard today that he got called on the carpet by his boss, and hopefully something significant will happen to him because he's the one that silences whistleblowers. So that's just a report of that occasionally a person has success fighting the people that are trying to shut people up.
Well, when you're dealing with the mainstream media, it's pretty hard to fight them because in the case of radio stations, they're licensed by the government, which means there's a restriction on the number of stations.
Is this a local radio station, or is this one of the big top names?
Well, it's the biggest radio station in the state of New Mexico. It's number one in the state of New Mexico.
It's a big corporate company that owns that particular station.
It's a nationwide. Yeah, it's nationwide without naming names unless you ask.
But what's the program he's calling into?
Some local host, right? You're not calling a national show. You're calling
because I know you're calling Limbaugh or Laura Ingraham or something. You're not getting in. They're going to screen the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, this is a local dude at this one station, and the station is part of his program is only broadcast locally on the one station. Right. It's not broadcast.
So it would be possible to get on this show. You've been on it before, but they decided to ban you because, well, I mean, the fact is you do tend to be a one-note pony. Not always, but you've changed it up on Free Talk Live because I've brought it up to you before, like, hey man, you got to call that something else. And I understand your kids were stolen from you by the government, and that sucks. And that's certainly something you want to talk about, and it means a lot to you. So we don't ban people from the air unless they continuously call about the same thing, which may be the reason why they banned you. I don't know.
That's not at all why they banned me, because I have all of the recordings. If anybody ever doubts me, going back 10 years, and yeah. And no, I've spoken on every different subject, and
okay. But they just don't like the pressure. They don't like being called out. They don't like having somebody disagree with their precious political guests.
Have you ever thought of starting your own podcast?
I probably wouldn't be good at it, but the
practice makes perfect. There's only one way to find out.
Right. What I did is I recorded him saying the objectionable things that he did yesterday, and I sent it to 100 different people on my email contacts list that were all in New Mexico government and also various people in the radio business around the nation. And apparently somebody had some connection because I contacted a dude who works at that station today, and he said that he thinks that what I did is the reason that this guy got called in on the carpet. So there's some success. And talking about different subjects, switching it up, thanks for the memories. I got like 3 different connections to Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, over my lifetime. So
congratulations. Thanks for the call. These days, the 6 degrees of separation has lowered to like 2 degrees, I think, because of the internet and more people kind of know more people.
I don't know if people really count internet connections.
Yeah, but do you really know those people?
Well, you don't have to know. You don't have to know to be considered connected, right? Like you, as long as
I've got friends on my feed that are from 10 years ago who I haven't talked to, spoke to, seen in 8 years.
Yeah.
But they're still there, and I still see them, what their activities sometimes. But
right,
I don't consider them.
You can follow celebrities on Twitter. It doesn't mean you're connected to the celebrity.
No. You have to be connected because, like, you know that person. Like, if they saw you, they would know you.
Yeah, 8 years ago. I mean, that doesn't count.
You don't think so? You think it expires? You think somebody knowing you expires over time, even if they still know you? Like, my best friend from elementary school is I'm no longer connected to that person.
You guys still talk?
No, of course not. More coming up tomorrow. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
If you're David, a few well-chosen words can help level the playing field with Goliath. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. Recently, I saw a Yellow Pages ad for an appliance repair company, and the headline read, "Why wait for Sears?" If you're going to the Yellow Pages, the Dead Sea Scrolls of advertising, you're ready to buy right now. So this is an attention-grabbing message. And how about the plumber whose radio ad says, "Call by noon Thursday and we'll be there Saturday at no extra cost"? Smart guy. Most plumbing firms give their crew the weekend off. This one gives them Sunday and Monday off. In the words of a respected advertising executive, cut to the chase, make it quick, and tell me exactly what you can do for me, especially if you're looking for work. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 20th, 2018. Silver